U.S. President Donald Trump has said that Washington does not need a deal with Iran to get enriched uranium from the country.
Trump also added that the U.S. will win the war one way or the other.
We would have been, Peter, we would have been there for a period of from a week to 2 weeks. We would have gotten it. But I said, I don't like the idea of that. All of a sudden, they, pinpoint, they still had missiles left. That means they would pinpoint you and just keep lobbing them in until one gets through, and people would have gotten killed. So I didn't like it. We could get it right now. I don't think they could stop us if we wanted, but there's no reason to. It's entombed. You use a good word. It's entombed.
He also added that if Washington and Tehran reached a deal, it was possible that he would meet Iran's supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei.
And we've heard you want to meet with the new Ayatollah, the new supreme leader.
I don't want to meet, but if I did meet, I'd be honored to meet him. I'd like to see if we make a deal. But if we make a deal, it's possible that I would meet him. I'd be okay with it.
Trump also conceded that Iran is not Venezuela, where the U.S. military could simply go in, seize Iran's stockpile of enriched uranium and come back. Trump said that the operation may need at least 2 weeks.
To get there, it's not like Venezuela. Like you go in, you're there for a matter of minutes, and you're out, and everybody's waving goodbye as you take off, and you brought the cargo back. This is different. You'd have to be there for 2 weeks. You'd need massive equipment. You'd have to airlift the equipment in. You're in a war zone.
Separately, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has condemned the attack on Kuwait airport this week as outrageous. The comments came during a meeting with Kuwaiti Foreign Minister Jarrah Jaber Al-Ahmed Al-Sabah in Washington.
With the war pushing the region on the edge, the U.S. government has now issued travel advisories for countries in the Gulf. According to the new directives, U.S. citizens have been asked to reconsider travel to Bahrain, Israel, West Bank, Jordan, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and United Arab Emirates. Further, U.S. citizens have been asked to not travel to Iran, Iraq, Lebanon, Syria, Gaza, and Yemen.
Meanwhile, U.S. Army Central or ARCENT and 3rd Army conducted a change of command ceremony in West Asia. Lieutenant General Patrick Frank, who took command of ARCENT in July 2022, assumed the deputy commander role at CENTCOM.
Well, to discuss more on this, we are now being joined by Adrian Calamal live from New York. He's a fellow at Arabian Peninsula Institute, terrorism and West Asian scholar. Welcome to WION World as one. Sir, we know that Trump said the U.S. could get Iran's enriched uranium right now without a deal. Then why negotiate at all?
Well, yeah, good morning to you. Great question. Yeah, why negotiate at all? I think what we're seeing is Trump is using strategic patience right now. I know with the Strait of Hormuz, there's been a lot of noise around that and how it's affecting the world economy. What people aren't seeing is what it's doing to the IRGC and their economy. They're not able to pay salaries of individuals, the repressive forces, those type of individuals. So, it's the whole idea and the notion of a deal. It was, I just never saw how it was going to come to pass, because Trump was very, firm that there will be no enrichment and no reprocessing. And the regime insisted that they had a right to enrich and reprocess. And Ali Khamenei, when he was still alive, believed that a nuclear weapon was critical to the survival of the regime. And I still believe that the remnants that are in power, specifically Mohsen Rezai, believe that a nuclear weapon is critical to the survival of the regime. So they're using strategic, tactical retreats to maintain their long-term strategic objectives. And I think Trump, this is a bit of gamesmanship here, and he's just kind of waiting it out and seeing what type of pressure can be played. Because part of Trump's policy has always been, it's been maximum pressure, and that's two elements to it. That's the kinetic kinetic, the military aspect, but it's also the economic part. And a lot of that economic part we're not seeing in what it's doing to and the toll it's taken on the IRGC, their proxies, the money that they're able to push out and around the region.
And that being said, do you think that when Trump says have conceded that Iran is not Venezuela, and when he says that yes, it would take, the operation might take at least 2 weeks, do you see this as a plan going forward if at all a deal is not, it won't happen? Because we've clearly, as my colleague mentioned, well, why negotiate?
Yeah, Josna, that's another really great question. Is like how do you? There's a couple objectives here. There's Natanz, and in Natanz they have to worry about centrifuges there, so they have to destroy those. And if you look at the areas where they put Natanz, that's in a highly populated area. And then in Isfahan, that's where you have the buried highly enriched uranium, and that needs to be destroyed and likely destroyed on site, not lifted out. So what you would have to do is, if the regime is not willing to make a deal and is still aggressive, and you would have to put up multiple layers of force protection to bring in the mechanisms to destroy that material and or centrifuges on site. And that sounds like a really extremely risky operation. Whereas, I hate to say this, but I think the more reasonable approach is to look to further, put the economic isolation on the regime. Also, to maybe, look at the kinetic operations again, take care of some of the individuals that weren't taken care of before. When I say eliminated, such as Mohsen Rezai, who he's the longest standing IRGC commander, and as far as Mojtaba, I doubt he's even alive. It's the IRGC that's running the country right now.
All right, of course, we'll have to wait and see how that pans out for West Asia. It's not just that. We also have Israel-Lebanon, where Hezbollah has outright rejected the ceasefire. That also seems to be a very fragile ceasefire. But of course, we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. Thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much.